Hi, this is Dr. Rajeshwar and you are watching YR Pharma Tube. In this video, I tell you about the physicochemical properties in relation to biological activity. Biological activity of a drug molecule can be studied by three different parameters such as the physicochemical properties, chemical structure parameters, and spatial considerations. In this lecture, we will discuss about the first class of properties, that is, the various physicochemical properties of drug molecules that influence the biological activity. By the end of this video, you will learn to identify a physical property, a chemical property, and the various types of physicochemical properties. Physical properties. All substances have distinct physical and chemical properties and may undergo physical or chemical changes. Physical properties can be observed or measured without changing the composition of the drug molecule. In short, they are used to observe and describe the drug. These include appearance, texture, color, odor, melting point, boiling point, density, solubility, polarity, and many others. A physical change takes place without any changes in molecular composition. The same element or compound is present before and after the change. The same molecule is present throughout the changes. Physical changes are related to physical properties since some measurements require that changes to be made. Chemical properties. Chemical properties of a drug molecule describe its potential to undergo some chemical change or reaction by virtue of its composition. Here we look into the elements, electrons, and bonding that are present in the drug molecule for the drug's potential nature. It is quite difficult to define a chemical property without using the term change. Eventually, you should be able to look at the formula, that is the chemical formula of a compound, and state some chemical property. Chemical change or chemical reaction results in one or more substances of entirely different composition from the original substances. The elements or compounds at the start of the reaction are rearranged into a new product compounds or elements. A chemical change alters the composition of the original matter. Different elements or compounds are present at the end of the chemical change. The atoms in compounds are arranged to make new and different compounds. The difference between a physical and a chemical property is straightforward until the phase of the drug material is considered. Now coming to physicochemical properties. The term physicochemical properties refers to how the functional groups present within a molecule influence its acid-base properties, water solubility, partition coefficient, crystal structure, stereochemistry, and its ability to interact with biological systems such as enzyme active sites and receptor sites. To design better medicinal agents, the relative contribution that each functional group, that is the pharmacophore, makes to the overall physicochemical properties of the molecule must be evaluated. Studies of this type involve modification of the molecule in a systematic fashion followed by a determination of how these changes affect biological activity. Such studies are referred to as structure-activity relationships, SAR, that is, the relationship of how structural features of the molecule contribute to or take away from the desired biological effect. The physicochemical properties are considered to be important because they are all related to transport of the drug molecule to its site of action, that is a receptor, with which a drug will interact in a given tissue or in an invading microorganism. The figure represents a simplified distribution chart of a bioactive substance or a drug in the body. The figure explains that a drug given orally or parenterally must traverse several semi-permeable membranes before reaching its destination. The efficacy of the passage depends on the solubility characteristics of the drug, that is, its behavior in aqueous solution and toward lipids. Also note that in each compartment the molecule is subject to various factors tending to decrease the concentration of the active form. Thus, the drug may be constantly excreted either directly or following biochemical inactivation. In addition, if the drug is bound in a stored but inactive form, such as to plasma proteins, there tends to be a decrease in its effectiveness. Since it is only the unbound free drug that produces the desired pharmacological actions, it may be possible to compensate for this phenomenon by increasing the dose. Physicochemical properties are crucial to the pharmaceutical and pharmacokinetic phases of action. Although a drug molecule may be administered in many different formulations, oral administration as a tablet is the most common form. Following oral administration, the drug molecule journeys from the GIT, that is gastrointestinal tract, throughout the body until it reaches the drug receptor. During this journey from the gums to the receptor, the drug molecule traverses many phases, that is pharmaceutical, pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic phases, and is subjected to multiple assaults on its structural and chemical integrity. The pharmaceutical phase is the time from the point of administration of the drug molecule until it is absorbed into the circulation of the body. The pharmacokinetic phase covers the time duration from the point of the drug's absorption into the body until it reaches the microenvironment of the receptor site. During this phase, the drug is transported to its target organ and to every other organ in the body. In pharmacodynamic phase, the drug molecule binds to its receptor through the complementarities of their molecular geometries. The functional groups of the drug molecule interact with the corresponding functional groups of the receptor macromolecule via a variety of interactions, including ion-ion, ion-dipole, dipole-dipole, aromatic-aromatic, and hydrogen bonding interactions. The binding of the drug molecule to its receptor enables the desired pharmacological response to occur. The figure shows the different organ systems inflict varying degrees of assault on the integrity of the drug molecule during its journey to the receptor. Stomach acid initiates the assault. Liver enzymes may destroy the drug in first pass effect. If the drug is too polar, the kidney will rapidly excrete it. All drug molecules interact with biological structures, that is biomembranes, the cell nucleus, biomolecules, that is lipoproteins, enzymes, nucleic acids, and other small molecules on their way toward the receptor. Only by first unraveling the relatively simple first interactions between a drug molecule and the various molecular structures that it encounters during its journey to the receptor can we understand drug activity at the cellular and molecular level. Since all biological reactions takes place in aqueous medium or at the interface of water and a lipid, the properties of water and this boundary layer must be studied on part of a comprehensive understanding of the interaction of a drug molecule with its receptor. Physicochemical properties reflect solubility characteristics of a drug in both aqueous and lipid environments and help to determine the ability of a drug to penetrate barriers and gain access to receptors throughout the body. Here is the list of various physicochemical properties of drug molecules that influence the biological activity. They may be broadly classified into general properties, chemical structure parameters, and spatial considerations, which include solubility, partition coefficient, ionization, dissociation constant, resonance and inductive effect, oxidation reduction potentials, type of bonding, isosterism and bioisosterism, molar refractivity, drug shape, complexation, surface tension, and protein binding. Coming to the first physicochemical property, that is solubility. Solubility is the ability of a chemical substance, referred to as the solute, to dissolve in solvent, usually a liquid, and forms a solution. Since a large number of living cells consist of water, a drug's solubility and behavior in water is particularly important. In living system, water acts as an inert solvent, a dispersing medium for colloidal solutions, and a nucleophilic reagent in numerous biological reactions. Furthermore, hydrogen bonding and hydrophobic interactions in water influence the conformations of biological macromolecules, which in turn affect their biological behavior. Water solubility also makes drug toxicity testing, bioavailability evaluation, and clinical application easier. As a result, it is necessary to assess the water solubility of drug candidates and, if required, design a reasonable degree of water solubility into their structures in an early point of their development. Once the drug has entered the circulatory system, either by absorption or by direct administration, its water solubility will influence its ease of transport to the body compartments available to the drug. Drugs that are sparingly soluble in water may be deposited en route to their site of action, which can clog up blood vessels and damage the organs. For example, many sulfonamides such as sulfamethoxazole tend to crystallize in the kidney, which may result in serious liver and kidney damage. Water solubility also affects the ease of drug transport through cell membranes found throughout the general circulatory system. Although a reasonable degree of water solubility is normally regarded as an essential requirement for a potential drug, it is possible to utilize poor water solubility in drug action and therapy. For example, pyrantel embonate, which is used to treat pinworm and hookworm infestation of the gastrointestinal tract, which is insoluble in water. This poor water solubility, coupled with the polar nature of the salt, means that the drug is poorly absorbed from the gut, and so the greater part of the dose is retained in the gastrointestinal tract, the drug's site of action. The low water solubility of a drug can also be used to produce drug depots, chewable dosage forms, and mask bitter tasting drugs because taste depends on the substance forming an aqueous solution. The reactivity of water will also affect the stability of the drug in transit. Hydrolysis by water is one of the main routes for the metabolism of drugs containing ester, amide, and other hydrolyzable groups. For example, one of the metabolic pathways of the local anesthetic drug, that is lignocaine, which is hydrolyzed to an amine. The production of compounds with the required degree of water solubility early in the development of a new drug can considerably reduce the overall cost of the development, since it does not cause any delays in the later stages of the development. For example, if it was found to be necessary to produce a water-soluble analog of a lead compound, at a later stage in the development of the new analog would have to be put through the same comprehensive testing procedure as the lead compound. This would necessitate repeating of expensive toxicity and bioavailability trials, which could result in an expensive delay in the trials program and possibly production. The importance of water solubility in drug action means that one of the medicinal chemist's development targets for a new drug is to develop analogs that have the required degree of water solubility. Solubility and the structure of the solute. The structure of a compound will influence its solubility in water and lipids. Its water solubility will depend on the number and nature of the polar groups in its structure, as well as the size and nature of the compound's carbon-hydrogen skeleton. In general, the higher the ratio of polar groups to the number of carbon atoms in the structure, the more water soluble the compound. Polar groups that ionize in water will usually result in a higher water solubility than those that do not ionize. However, aromatic compounds do tend to be less soluble in water than the corresponding non-aromatic compounds. Using these observations, it is possible to compare in a very general manner that the relative water solubilities of compounds with similar carbon skeletons. The lipid solubility of a compound depends on the nature and number of nonpolar groups in its structure. In general, the greater the number of nonpolar groups in the structure of a compound, the greater the compound's lipid solubility. Consequently, the lipid solubility of analogues may be improved by replacing polar groups by significantly less polar groups or nonpolar groups. Potential drug candidates whose structures contain both polar and nonpolar groups will exhibit a degree of solubility in both water and lipids. The water solubility of a lead compound can be improved by three general methods. Salt formation. Number 2, by incorporating water solubilizing groups into the structure, especially those that contain hydrogen bond with water. And number 3, the use of special dosage forms. In salt formation, the activity of the drug is normally unchanged, although its potency may be different. However, when new structural groups are incorporated into the structure of a drug, the activity of the drug could be changed. Consequently, it will be necessary to carry out a full trials program on the new analog. The second physicochemical property is the partition coefficient. The transport of a drug to its site of action, that is a receptor, normally involves the drug having to pass through a large number of lipid membranes. Consequently, the relative solubilities of a drug in aqueous medium or lipid is a considerable importance in the transport of that drug to its site of action, especially at the aqueous medium or lipid interface. Partition coefficient P is also known as distribution coefficient, that is D, is the measure of a compound that distributes itself between two immiscible solvents. In other words, the partition coefficient of a drug is defined as the equilibrium constant, that is a biphasic liquid phase, of drug concentrations in the two phases. It is calculated by the formula partition coefficient P is equal to drug in the organic phase divided by drug in an aqueous phase. P is constant for the specified system provided that the temperature is kept constant and ideal dilute solutions are used. The values of partition coefficients are normally measured at either 25 degrees centigrade or 37 degrees centigrade, and for a particular solute will be different for different solvent systems. Since partition coefficients are difficult to measure in living systems, they are usually determined in vitro using N-octanol as a model of the lipid phase and an aqueous phosphate buffer at pH 7.0 as a model of the water phase. This permits standardized measurements of partition coefficients because it is a ratio. Partition coefficient is dimensionless. However, the results are only valid in situations where solubility and transport by diffusion through a membrane are the main factors controlling drug design. N-octanol is the most commonly used organic phase in pharmacological investigations, but other solvents such as butanol, chloroform, and olive oil are also used. The aqueous phase is either water or a phosphate buffer at pH 7.4, the pH of blood. A high p-value for the partition coefficient indicates that the compound will readily diffuse into lipid membranes and fatty tissues. The compound is said to be hydrophobic, that is water hating, and have a high hydrophobicity. These compounds with relatively high hydrophobicity or relatively high p-value will easily enter a membrane but will be reluctant to leave and so will not be readily transported through the membrane if diffusion is the only transport mechanism for the drug. This means that the drug could fail to reach its site of action in sufficient quantity to be effective unless hydrophobicity is the dominant factor in its action. A low p-value indicates that the compound is reluctant to enter lipid material and prefers to stay in the more polar aqueous medium. Compounds of this type are said to be hydrophilic, that is water loving, and have a low hydrophobicity. Extremely water soluble compounds, that means the compounds with low hydrophobicities, may be unable to cross, that means they will not easily diffuse into membrane, that is the lipid barriers, for example blood brain barrier, and gain access to organs rich in lipids such as the brain and other neuronal tissues. Analogues with relatively low hydrophobicities will not easily diffuse into a membrane and so could fail to reach their site of action in effective quantities. Hydrophobicity can have a significant effect on biological activity. Partition coefficient is also an additive property of a molecule since each functional group helps determine the polarity and therefore the lipophilic or hydrophilic character of the molecule. These subsequent contributions are widely utilized in QSAR studies. Partition coefficients thoroughly influence drug transport characteristics during the pharmacokinetic phase, that is, partition coefficients affect the way drugs reach the site of action from the site of administration, that is, the injection site or the gastrointestinal tract. Drugs are usually distributed by the blood but must also penetrate and traverse many barriers before reaching the site of action. Hence, the partition coefficient P, which reflects a drug's ability to be soluble in both aqueous and lipid phases, that will determine what tissues a given compound can reach. Naturally, the P is only one of the several physicochemical parameters that influence drug transport and diffusion, which itself is only one aspect of drug activity. The partition coefficient and concepts derived from it are particularly important in explaining the mode of action of neurological drugs such as anticonvulsants and general anesthetics, which must penetrate the blood-brain barrier prior to exerting their biological effect. For example, general anesthetics are believed to act by dissolving in cell membranes. The octanol water partition coefficients of the anesthetics diethyl ether, chloroform, and halothane are 0.98, 1.97, and 2.3 respectively, which indicates that halothane would be the most soluble of these in lipid membranes. This corresponds to their relative activities with halothane being the most potent. Consequently, the hydrophobicity of a compound in terms of its partition coefficient is one of the factors considered in the quantitative structure-activity relationship approach to drug design. If hydrophobicity is the most important factor in drug action, an increase in hydrophobicity usually results in an increase in action. This table shows some of the octanol water partition coefficient data. Coming to Ionization, the third physicochemical property. Many drugs are either weak organic acids or weak organic bases or their salts. The degree to which these drugs are ionized in solution is highly dependent on the pH. The exceptions to this general statement are the non-electrolytes such as the steroids and the quaternary ammonium compounds, which are completely ionized at all pH values and in this respect behave as strong electrolytes. The extent of ionization of a drug has an important effect on its absorption, distribution, and elimination, and there are many examples of the alteration of the pH to change these ionization properties. The pH of urine may be adjusted, for example, by the administration of ammonium chloride or ammonium bicarbonate in cases of overdosing with amphetamines, barbiturates, narcotics, and salicylates to ensure that these drugs are completely ionized and hence readily excreted. Conversely, the pH of the urine may be altered to prevent ionization of a drug in cases where reabsorption is required for therapeutic reasons. Sulfonamide crystalluria may also be avoided by making the urine alkaline. An understanding of the relationship between pH and drug ionization is of use in the prediction of the causes of precipitation in admixtures, in the calculation of the solubility of drugs, and in the attainment of optimum bioavailability by maintaining a certain ratio of ionized and unionized drugs. Table shows the nominal pH values of some body fluids and sites which are useful in the prediction of percentage ionization of drugs in vivo. Dissociation constant. When a drug is weak acid or a weak base, we find that its lipid solubility is greatly affected by the pH of its environment and by its degree of dissociation expressed as pKa. The fraction of the total drug concentration that is in the molecular and ionic forms is indicated by the dissociation constant Ka. Equations illustrate that the interaction of weak acids and weak bases with water which results in dissociation. Here in these two reactions, A represents an acid and B represents for a base. Note that the initial reaction for both substances is shown as a protolytic reaction, that is a protonation reaction between an acid species and water. The water is present in such large excess that the proton transfer has only a negligible effect on its total concentration. Thus, water can be eliminated from the equation without a significant error. The simplified equation for weak acid now becomes HA at an equilibrium condition to produce H plus A minus. Applying the law of mass action, we produce the general relationship Ka is equal to H plus A minus by HA. The equation can be rearranged into the more useful Henderson-Hasselbalch equation, that is pKa is equal to pH plus log Cu by Ci. Cu represents the unionized form of the drug, whereas Ci represents the ionized form of the drug. The corresponding relationships for weak bases are B plus H plus at equilibrium conditions to produce BH plus. Ka is equal to H plus B by BH plus and pKa is equal to pH plus log Ci by Cu. Weak acids have a higher pKa than stronger ones. Thus, an acid with a pKa of 5 is 100 times weaker than an acid whose pKa is 3. Conversely, weaker bases have lower pKa values. It is not surprising that bioactivity of many weak acids and bases is directly related to their degree of ionization, which in turn is directly affected by the pH of the medium in which the drug finds itself. Since many of the drugs we encounter are weak acids or bases, an understanding of their solubility characteristics is important because the ionic form is the more water soluble chemical species and the pH of the solvent environment determines the degree of ionization achieved. It becomes possible, for example, to formulate liquid pharmaceutical products such as injectables, syrups, and elixirs of drugs that would ordinarily be poorly soluble. Low molecular weight carboxylic acids such as acetic acid and propionic acid are totally water soluble. However, as they go beyond a 5 carbon content, their solubility decreases rapidly. An interesting example of how advantage can be taken of these factors to form a water soluble parenteral dosage form of a drug that is highly insoluble is the steroid methylprednisolone. Heating this drug with succinic anhydride results in the hemisuccinate derivative. Obviously, now a large 25 carbon carboxylic acid and therefore its solubility is less than 1 mg per ml. However, by the simple expedient of neutralizing the acidic function and forming the ionic sodium salt, the solubility is increased to over 200 mg per ml. This is more than the adequate to formulate injectable products of considerable concentrations. The very useful, widely used drug aspirin is a weak acid with pKa of 3.5. It is usually taken orally. The pH of gastric juice in the stomach is about 1. In the small intestine, it is about 6. From which area would the majority of this drug be absorbed into the bloodstream? By applying the equation pKa is equal to pH plus log Cu by Ci, we find that the drug is almost completely unionized in the gastric juice. Since the molecular form of a drug is the lipid soluble species, we would expect that it would be readily absorbed in the stomach, which has lipoprotein membrane in its lining. This is actually the case for many weakly acidic drugs. The converse argument would apply to weakly basic drugs. We would expect their absorption from the stomach to be poor. Consider the three barbituric acid derivatives thiopental, secobarbital and barbital with respective pKa of 7.6, 7.9 and 7.8. These drugs are very weak acids. On the basis of their ionization constants, we would expect very little difference in their absorption rates from the stomach. Yet, the drugs are absorbed at very different rates. The reason becomes apparent when the partition coefficients between chloroform and water are considered. Thiopental's value is over 100, whereas the values of secobarbital and barbital are 23 and 0.7 respectively. Now, which would one predict to be the least rapidly absorbed and which the most? By considering only the physicochemical parameters and excluding others, erroneous conclusions can result. Figure shows that the hypothetical relationship of biological activity as a function of pH only. Studies on the distribution of drugs between the intestine and plasma, between kidney tubules and urine, and between plasma and other body compartments suggest that the important general conclusion that only lipid-soluble, undissociated forms of a drug passes through membranes readily. Ionized species usually cannot pass unless a mediated transport system is present for a specific compound or a close congener in a given membrane, which is a rare occurrence. For example, Almost two-thirds of a dose of salicylic acid with pKa3 is absorbed from the rat stomach in 1 hour at pH 1 as might be expected. However, if the pH is raised to 8, at which point the acid is completely ionized, over 1/10th of the dose is still absorbed. Another possibility that should be kept in mind that the unionized form of some weak electrolyte drugs may have intrinsically poor lipid solubility because of a high proportion of polar functional groups. The opposite situation, where the ionized form may still have appreciable lipid solubility, where the drug has few polar groups but a relatively large hydrocarbon skeleton, that is a possibility. Methylprednisolone sodium succinate would be an example. Although lipid solubility at physiological pH enhances a drug's penetrability of a membrane, too much may not necessarily result in increased activity. Many antibacterial sulfonamides exhibit their peak effectiveness at pH values at which they are only approximately half ionized. These sulfonamides have pKa values in the 6 to 8 range. The apparent reason is that even though the molecular form can readily penetrate the bacterial membrane, only the anionic form is bacteriostatic once inside. Thus, approximately 50% ionization appears to be optimal. Nevertheless, several highly active sulfonamides exist with a pKa considerably outside of this optimal range. Other factors are also involved. In summary, if bioactivity is caused by ionic forms of drugs, activity will increase as the degree of ionization increases. On the other hand, if undissociated molecules are the active species, then increased ionization will necessarily reduce this activity. This is a table of examples in which some of the acidic and basic drugs with their pKa and pKb values have been given. This is the list of the sources of this lecture content. Here we end the general physicochemical properties in relation to biological activity. In this video, we learned how solubility, partition coefficient, ionization and dissociation constant influences on the drug molecule's biological activity. This is not the end of the topic. We continue to discuss on the remaining physicochemical properties under the headings of chemical structural parameters and spatial considerations in the next lecture videos. Please subscribe to this channel so that you will never miss my lectures. Keep learning and keep watching my videos. Thank you for watching this video.